Incredible. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for being here. Really appreciate both of you. So just to give it a quick intro, these are the home-based workshops leading up to the Base Batches Build-a-thon. Tom is going to give us a little intro to Base here, and then we're going to go into a little bit of a longer introductory session by Naomi. So Tom, if you'd like to take it away, feel free to get started.
Yeah, totally. I'd love to. Really excited about everybody building on Base. And by the way, where's this being streamed so I
This
can
is
follow along?
being streamed on Twitter.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. I like to have it
So
open so I can see nice feedback and other things from folks.
it looks like the Twitter comments are propagating directly to the StreamYard as well.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
wow, midnight. Cool. It's the
Yes.
best time for building.
Damn right.
Really excited, happy to join and just share a little bit of the things that I'm most excited about happening on Base right now, and would love to hear any like questions or stuff from the audience. So yeah, my name's Tom. I'm head of product for Base. On the builder side, really excited about all the work that we're doing on the chain with the smart wallet and with our builder toolkit. So things like Onchain Kit. I'm sure many of you have seen Mini Kit that recently went live in terms of like mini apps being an important way that you can get distribution. And so, excited to see more of what gets built. And really the thing that, working with Zen and everybody around what we're trying to do with Base Batches here is that a lot of our build-a-thons and other, DevRel support has been around going from idea to app. And that's a very important piece of the equation, right? When we're seeing with things like vibe coding and the rise of generative AI, the idea that you can really go from idea to app or prototype quickly is important. But there's another piece of this equation, and I'd say it's probably half the equation. It's going from app to business. So, the things around your app that actually get you to be able to live and build and grow it sustainably is a big part of the idea here. It's kind of like what happens on the day after the build-a-thon, or, once you've been successful bringing something, getting those first users, getting that early traction, how do you create a business around that? And that's really the part of this that I'm so excited about seeing. It's things like, certainly distribution, and that's a big part of what mini apps are for, but it's, getting connected with other teammates that can help build it, getting connected with funding, getting, and investors and these types of things, and, getting connected with all the things that you need to know, maybe if you don't know yet, around how to operate a business. So things like payroll and taxes and, withholdings and all these types of other important elements. And this idea of like bringing the world on chain, it's certainly a big technical effort with software that we're writing, but then there's also these soft skills, or these, there's still hard skills, but skills around going from app to business. And that's really what I'm excited about, is having everything you need all in one place and helping all the builders that are creating really do that holistically and be able to earn sustainably today and for the long term from what they're building on Base.
It literally could not have been a better introduction for what we're doing here, Tom. I love that it's become consensus for most people putting on hackathons to no longer just say, "Hey, come to the hackathon, build something for a few dollars, and then never build again." Everyone is really focused on driving these hackathon projects, these winners, onto actually a real business eventually. And this is how we create real products, real services that real people actually use, and how we bring real users on chain. So really glad to have you put it all in front of everyone just like that. And anyone who's interested in Onchain Kit, etc., for about what Tom's been talking about, stay tuned with us all week. We'll be going over some of these tools and more infrastructure from Base. So this week, next, and then the week after, we'll be going over plenty of tooling and resources for developers. So please bear with us, and you'll get to learn all about the things that Tom had mentioned.
Heck yeah. Awesome. Really, really good to hear. And all these things fit together nicely into a one-stop shop for builders, building on chain, building on Base. And I think these workshops are going to be really instrumental in that.
I couldn't agree more. And thank you so much for joining us. If anyone has any questions for Tom, feel free to throw them into the chat real quick. Hopefully he's got a few seconds to answer them. And then we'll move on to Naomi's session.
Very cool. Nice. Definitely seeing some Base friends in the chat here. This is awesome.
Lots of Base friends, actually. Huge shout out Statuette. She has been absolutely instrumental in putting on these workshops. None of this would be possible without her. So thank you, Statuette. And she's the majority of the reason that we're getting real distribution on this as well. So she is the queen of queens.
Great. That's a good question. Nice to see you. When should a project incorporate? I think, this isn't legal advice. This isn't financial advice. And one of the things that comes to mind with this is it kind of depends where people are located too. I can tell you, doing it at the right time in the right way. So in my past experience, I've done some things as an LLC, as a subchapter S corp, and then, as a Delaware corporation. And I think some of that probably depends on what your ultimate goals are for the project, how far along it is, and where in the world you are based, or where the majority of the builder team is based. And I think one of the things there that will be important through some of the base batches material and otherwise is what's the goal for this? If you're needing a vehicle to go if your plan is to like raise funds, then something like a Delaware Corp is typically very standard, at least in the United States, as something that can be a vehicle for taking on funds. If it's going to be something more like a quote lifestyle business, which I never really got that term, because a lifestyle business is great and they can be very wildly successful and profitable, but maybe that just means that you're not intending to like raise a lot of outside capital. Maybe for that, again, this isn't legal advice, but maybe for that, something like an LLC is more apropos. And that's really, something that is being innovated on when you look at like what's happening in Wyoming. Like they have a very interesting LLC setup, and then they even have the Dow LLC structure. There's Dowda. There's some different things out there. So I don't want to speak too much out of turn because I'm not up on the latest on-chain legal structures. But I think really around your goals, where you're located, I think those would be important considerations to think about. Yeah, and then there's all kinds of countries also that, of course, different companies use for different purposes.
So follow-up question, Tom, if you were to incorporate, and let's say this business doesn't do anything physical in the US, would you incorporate in the US?
I really think that's a question that everybody is going to have to answer for themselves, and hopefully through some of the programming that we're putting together and bringing in the right experts that are up to date on the latest things, I think will be important to help guide that thought. But here's one thing I can say, maybe not definitively, but I can say this. Let me not say it definitively, but if you are going to launch a mini app, I don't think you need to be thinking about how to incorporate before you launch a mini app. Depending on what you're doing, of course, your situation might change. But, I like this about going from idea to app and then from app to business. And the incorporation piece is very, very important. So you don't want to do it too late, but you also don't want to not ship because you're kind of held back by some of these constraints. So use your best judgment and your best taste and kind of think through that. Nevada too. Interesting. Yeah, I haven't followed that up as much, but I'll have to follow that. It's so great to see all the different countries that people are tuning in from. This is awesome. All different times all around the world. It's about sunset right here pretty soon where I'm at. So
in our plan is to, when we do these in the future, hopefully we can do them either 6 hours ahead or 6 hours behind. So as we do them, we'll choose different time zones so we can make it more accessible to people around the world. So we chose this time zone just because it happened to work in the past for some folks. So we sent it around this time, and it's been working pretty well so far. But we're gonna keep changing it throughout the future just to make it as accessible as possible. And also, if you guys missed the live stream or you have to go, don't worry about it. Everything will be recorded, and we'll make sure that everything is in a very easy place for you to find it.
A lot of people calling in from midnight.
Mm-hmm. Looks like
a good time
zone.
Nice. Yeah. So if there's other questions too, I'm happy to answer. I know there's some really good programming planned here. I would think about really, yeah, go ahead, Luciano.
I'm just gonna say if there's any last questions, feel free to give them real quick. Tom, if there's something else you wanted to say, feel free, and then let's move on.
Yeah. Well, really excited. And I know we're going to be talking about that more later today, but like why Onchain, why Base? When I think about stuff that I want to see built, it's what does Onchain do uniquely that other platforms don't do? And when I think about just moving money around the world, like your money should move at the speed of the internet. I think that's an ad from last year from Coinbase, and that's a great way to put it, right? But it's like stable coins can just go anywhere. And, pretty soon, 200 milliseconds with flash blocks coming soon to base mainnet, coming very soon. And that's just moves around, and you don't have to be burdened by the legacy financial rails, which really weren't designed for this globally connected internet. And so that's one of the things I get excited about, and what type of apps and mini apps and experiences can uniquely use on-chain and smart contracts to power their business logic. I think we're really, really at a good time for innovation here, with all the tools coming together and the support through programs like this and the community that we have. So very excited to see. Yeah, Mike, so thoughts on layer threes? Layer 3 app chains are an important part of scaling block space throughput, really. And so the way that we're thinking about app chains is, we partnered with Coinbase developer platform to create the app chains product. And also there's some great other providers out there like Conduit, Caldera, Alchemy, Gelato, and others that are creating these layer 3 launchers in order to bring that live. And so when I think about, might you be ready for an app chain? It's if you're using a lot of block space, if you're spending a lot of money on gas credits for your end users. And so some of the one vertical that we see a lot of this happening is with gaming, because the level of transaction volume, so much of what happens is happening on chain, and the builders are spending a lot of money subsidizing the block space costs for their users. They might be ready for an app chain. And so this is to say that an app chain does have a decent amount of operational needs that come with it. You don't get it for free. You really are operating your own chain now, which as an L3 app chain, it plugs neatly into Base and will interop well. And then there's different types of settings and configuration, like custom gas token. That's an interesting one that we've heard from a lot of people that are interested in an app chain. But those are some of my high level thoughts. And I do think, over the coming years, we're going to see more and more layer 3 app chains for apps that reach that scale or have those unique customization needs. And really, it's kind of like a on-chain connected EC2 instance, or like a compute server that can be connected to the broader chain ecosystem, is one way to think about it.
And once again, a quick follow-up from that, Tom. If I guess that pretty much sums up why Base for you as well personally, but if you'd like to go a little bit deeper into why you think Base is the right place for these things, might be a good place to end it all.
Yeah, totally. And maybe I can dovetail with Toki's question also.
Oh, yes.
I think, why is Base the place? Well, first off, I get excited about writing smart contracts for the EVM. And so when I survey the landscape of different ways that you can write your business logic for your app on chain, and that you can plug into different kind of money Legos, other smart contracts and on-chain apps, I get most excited right off the bat for Ethereum and the Ethereum virtual machine. I think, putting my developer hat on, it's the most expressive smart contract language. There's so much that you can do with it. Most people use Solidity. Of course, there's Viper for a more Pythonic element. And there really is the sky is the limit for what you can do with it. And then, building on that, Base is an Ethereum layer 2. And, the reasons that I think that Base is the place, of course, I might be somewhat biased, but, really trying to make Base a bridge, not an island, that connects to all parts of the global on-chain economy. Our close relationship with Coinbase makes sure that we're, doing things with the utmost highest level of security, privacy, these important things, and decentralizing progressively over time. We mindfully launched fault proofs at the end of last year, and very soon we're mindfully stepping to the Security Council and going to have that stage 1 decentralization milestone. But really, our goal is to bring many, many, many more people on chain than there currently are. I'm sure you've heard us talk about 1 billion people on chain. And I think it's all about distribution when you're building an app. How important is it to get people in front of your app? And this is something that I think we are uniquely positioned to do, with the simplicity and the clarity, the strength of the team and the teammates that I work with. And then most importantly, the amazing community that has, think about how old Base is not even officially 2 years old yet in terms of when the mainnet launched. And we have the most ridiculous, most global, most based community of people that truly love to help each other and lift each other up. And I think these Homebase workshops can help, not even help, will be what shapes the future of Base, because it wouldn't be possible with just the people that are working on the core team. There's so much more to that. And we can do it this way, it really will make it stand apart, I think, from how other chains approach it. And so that would be some of my things that I think about with Onchain and with Base in particular.
Oh man, thank you so much for that. I'm absolutely incredible. And of course, super kind words. I really hope that that can be the case, but hopefully we're just one of many, many communities, within Base that help shape its future. And that's why, Base has been super supportive around supporting these decentralized communities. And this is really what does drive real value, especially on chain, is bottom up engagement and, community driven initiatives. So I'm really glad that you understand, and everyone at Base understands how important it is, and this is why we're aligned. It really is important to lift each other up together, and we're all fighting the same battle. That's why on chain is first. Not why Base. It's really important that we understand why we're all here first and foremost, and Base is just one of the maybe best ways to get us there.
And collectively, we're all making Base the place, which I get very excited
Mhm.
about. So feelings
Making Base the
mutual.
place. I gotta start using that. That's good. Yeah.
Totally.
Any other good questions in there? Any last things you want to say, Tom?
I think that covers it. Keep building, stay based, or start building and keep being based. We're going to get into it now. There's some really good programming up. I know you're going to cover some good stuff, Naomi, and then some folks from the DevRel team will get into some more technicals and nuts and bolts. And it's going to be a good session tonight, morning, afternoon, wherever people are. Can't wait to see what comes out of this first batch.
And Tom, if there's any extra resources or anything you want to send me or you want to put in front of people, just let me know and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, the one thing I would say is obviously the Twitter or X account Build on Base is great to follow.
Okay.
If you're on Farcaster clients, the Base account is good to follow. But on the Build on Base one on X, we're getting all the latest happenings for all things builders, and the same on Farcaster too. So excited to see y'all there, and have a great rest of the. It's very true, Emmanuel. That's a great way to put it.
All right, you heard it here first. Go follow Build on Base on Twitter. Go follow Base on Farcaster, and put your Base ENS in the comments. I will be asking you guys to put your ENS in the comments every 20 minutes or so. So the sooner you do it, the better.
Yeah, I want to see that base name. We got to all have base names.
Everyone's getting a base name. Come on. It's the whole purpose of these workshops. Let's go.
I'm tom.base.eth, and I see some good base names in here. Awesome. Well, thank you all for having me. I'm excited to see how this goes, and I'm looking forward to joining another one too in the future soon.
Amazing. Thanks so much again, Tom. Really appreciate you.